We now return to Let's Play OpenTTD. One thing that I sort of didn't mention, or that I sort of glossed over, you know what, I'm just going to put this on the easy street stuff. Maybe? How about the old style? This is kind of a loud song too. Damn it! Anyway, one thing I didn't mention, or that I was going to mention, and that I sort of failed to do, was when I was talking about refitting. And basically what I was saying, or what I was going to say, was that if you are going through that situation where you are trying to take one type of good and then say there was a town here, right? And so I've got these, what are these, livestock? Yeah, livestock trucks that are coming here and dropping off the livestock. When you click on this, you now see that that livestock is being converted into goods. And so I'm going to need to transport those goods. I don't have to, but if I wanted to make some money with that, I would need to do that. And so let's say there was a town right here. And rather than building another little system here where I've got goods trucks taking them from this factory to the town, I could refit that truck and, you know what, I'm just going to turn it off until we actually start playing. So I could refit that truck. It could get its, if I had this depot a little bit closer, it could get its livestock to the depot, or to the factory. It would then go to the depot, refit, and it could turn from a livestock truck to a goods truck, where it would then go to the factory and take it back to the town. I could then have it refit back to a livestock truck, and it would go pick up the livestock. That's really convoluted to do with trucks. It might be better for trains, but there are a lot of costs involved in refitting, and it takes a lot of time, obviously, for it to keep coming back and refitting and changing and everything. And it's probably just better to buy one of each and set up some separate, more efficient systems like that. So anyway, we were going to talk about trains this episode, because we're not making a whole lot of money. We can click this graph view here, and it shows that we are actually making quite a bit of profit compared to where we were. But, you know, we need to pay off this $200,000, and we're just not making that kind of money. So the train system works pretty similar, and I guess we can do it right here. It's not very long, though. Like I was saying in the last episode, with trains you kind of want longer routes. You know, delivery trucks, you want to keep them short, but trains you kind of want to go for a long distance, but not too long. Because if they take too long, then you're not really, I mean, you're spending all that time traveling and you're not really getting any goods out of it. So, this would probably be a good route from this coal mine to this power plant, but it might be a little bit long. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay local to our home base. And I didn't actually set this up as my house or my home base yet. I haven't built the headquarters, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just put that right, well, right here. I can't do it while it's paused. And then I'm going to build a road. There we go. So this is not very impressive right now, but as we go through various, various stages, when you click on this trophy, you can come down to the detailed performance rating, and it shows you kind of where you're at. And as you get all these conditions, you get all these points, and the points are basically what determine what this building looks like. If you want some really fancy corporate tower, you need to get most of these done, and just mousing over shows you what those actually are. Probably the first one you will get is paying off your loan. When you have no loan debt, you get 50 points. So anyway, let's set up the rails. I'm just going to set up a simple rail system. So you click the rails, which is right next to the road, and that brings up your railroad tab. And you need to build a station, clicking on the station button here. And this little window is where you can customize how much or how many trains that station will hold. Right now it's set up for a number of 1 track and 3 long. The length determines the length of your train, and each one of these little squares will hold 2 cars, and that includes your engine. So when I click on, when I click on this and it says 3 length, what that means is basically an engine and 5 cars. You can have a very long train, but it also takes a lot longer to load up. So neither this power station nor this coal mine are very big. I might want to put down 4, but I won't do that right now, because I'll probably build another one right next to it. Let's put that right, damn it. Let's put that right there, and then I will put another one over here. Let's turn it around. Put that right there. Okay. Oh, shoot. Right, and then the rails are pretty much like the roads, where you've got the directionals or you've got the smart road or smart rail. So I'm just going to use that. And the slopes are going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. You can build tunnels. This little button right here builds tunnels, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, every year this thing automatically pops up. Let's just close that and we'll look at it later. So let's see, let's get that going straight up that way. There. Okay. So just like the roads, you need to set up a depot. And I'll probably just set that up. Oh, let's set it up right here. Almost halfway, but closer to the actual supply. And click New Vehicles. And when you go through your trains, you can see the different engines and how much they cost, how fast they go, how reliable they are. I kind of like this Cheney Jubilee because it's quite a bit better than the Paul tank, but the Ginzu isn't really, I mean, I don't think it's really worth it, because eventually you'll get a better train. So if you got the money, go ahead, but I'll just go with this one. And then we also need to buy the coal trucks. So we'll buy 5 of those. And just like the trucks, you set up your route. And whoop. This time, when it's at the mines, I want to say wait for a full load. And then go. And we'll speed this up, because it does take a rather long time for the trains to load, and that is why eventually we're probably going to want to expand this with a second train. When you are building your stations, like just like the platform length, you can increase the number of tracks you want, and people get some pretty complex systems with rails going everywhere. We don't really need to talk about signals and all that stuff right now. This is a pretty simple track. So let's have the train move on, and we'll see how much we get for it. Actually, I should have looked to see if there was a subsidy first, but oh well. So 8,000 bucks. Much better. But we could do a lot better if I had a second train. Do I have enough money? I might want to wait until I've got a little bit more money, so let's speed this up. The advantage to having 2 trains on a track is that while one is delivering and unloading, another one can load. Because, like I said, it does take a while to load a train, and so having one ready to go as one is coming back is a good thing. So I think we got enough money now. Still haven't paid off anything on my loan, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just build another single track, basically a duplicate of what I've got here. And why do I keep closing that? And then I'm just going to extend this out a bit. Doesn't really need to be that long, and then I'll just sort of put it... There's a train in the way. Probably not a good idea to lay track while the train is coming. Okay, so now this train is actually going to have a choice of 2 stations, which is not really what we want. But we'll fix that here in a minute. Because right now what's going to happen, if I build another train, or buy another train, right now we have no way of controlling the track. Which means that as soon as the train filled up here, it would go down this track, and it might meet this one head-on. So the way you control all that is with the signals, and the signals are probably the most complicated part of this game, and it confuses a lot of new players. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but right now I'm going to fix my track, because in order to avoid any head-on collisions, what we can do is we can have the signals sort of keep the train here until the track is clear, which is good enough, I guess, but I find that to be rather inefficient because you basically have a train sitting here ready to go, but it has to wait until this train gets all the way back. It would be much better if we actually had the train basically halfway there. So I'm going to build a side track. And a thing about the depot is that it has a built-in signal. So if a train comes into the depot, it will actually sit and wait until the track is clear. But we don't really want to rely on the depot as a means of controlling our trains. How am I going to do it? Now, this hill is probably not the best hill to be trying to do this on, because I don't think I'm actually going to be able to build that way. So I'm going to have to do some crazy slope work here. Can I get there? Okay. Well, this is going to be a pretty bad sidetrack, I guess. And nope, that, damn it. To clear a rail, you can get this little bulldozer and just do it that way. You can also use the bomb, which is meant to demolish buildings and other things like that. What I'm going to do, actually, is landscape this. I'm going to make this a little bit better. And the way to do that, the landscape tab is way over here on the right by your options. And it works a lot like SimCity. You just get an area. Okay. So now that should be good to go. And there are some disadvantages to using the smart rail system. There we go. Okay. So now we've got this crazy side trail, or side rail, side track. I was trying to say 2 different things at once. But it will allow us to have a train down here ready to go so that when this comes back, it's basically halfway there already. But now we need to talk about signals. So let's go back to this signal menu here. And of all these signals, basically the top 6 and the bottom 6 are the same. They just look a little bit different. And really, the only 2 you need, at least for a very simple track like this, are the ones over here. This is a double signal, or a, yeah. No, what is that? Well, it's a path signal, but anyway, this one is sort of like a both directions one, and this is a one-way signal. For this side rail, what we're going to want is a one-way signal, because we want trains to go out this way and come back this way. So, let's see, I'm going to put it, I'll put it here. Oh, we're paused. I'll put it here. So when I click, you can see what direction it's facing. If you want it to face a different direction, which in this case we do because the trains are going to be coming from this way, you just click it again and it will set up. And then we want another one here, and that is facing the correct way. If you screw up, if you decide that actually I wanted this signal right here, what you can do is you can click that signal and then you can click this signal conversion button, and then you can just click this and it will turn it to the one that you actually want. Now one thing that I could do is put, okay, we made $5,000 in profit, hooray. Wow, we made $50,000 in road. That's pretty good for road. One thing I could do is also set up some signals out of these stations, and that way, you know, it would definitely make sure that there was no train coming. But because we've got this little side track, doing that basically means that it might still get stuck here, even though this track or this train is down here, because it would still see it as, you know, on the track. So to guarantee that it's going to come here, we will just leave that alone, because this train should stop here even if it's coming along. So this system should be fine. Let's go ahead and clone that train and get it going. And we'll speed this up. Now, only one train at a time gets loaded, so you don't have to worry about them trying to race out of the station together. Whoa. When you're on fast and you're trying to move with the keys, it gets all screwy. Okay, now this is an interesting development here, because in the time it's taking for one train to load, this other train actually gets all the way back. Now that might not always be the case. If a train breaks down, that will alter its time table. But it seems to be working okay now. And of course when they stop off at the depot, see right there, that was kind of bad. It just the train broke down here just as this one was ready to come back. So maybe this isn't the most perfect system. And there are other ways of... Oh wow, we made 34,000. We're doing pretty well. There are other signals that can help a lot in making sure that the track is clear. This block signal way over here on the left, for example, is a good one if you have a lot of trains in a very simple system like this, because if you've got a train like here and then a train coming right behind it, all those block signals will basically keep the back train from rear-ending the front train. So it will ensure that the track between those block signals is clear. But I think we can leave this alone as it is. I think it'll work. And let's check our profits. Well, that was probably the expense of the train and all the track, but it should be doing well. And what do we got? Mail and passengers, subsidies. We don't need that crap. So let's see. Doesn't really look like there's any other industries around here I want to get into. You can, of course, just have a passenger train. You don't have to have these cargo trains going back and forth. But, well, okay, let's look at the town directory. So the next most populous one is this Benville, and there's a lot of these oil refineries around. Could take advantage of that. If I could find some oil derricks or rigs or whatever, wells, oil wells. Well, so besides intercity transportation, you can transport people between towns if they're close enough with a bus system or whatever, like right here. I could connect those roads and get something going between them. Generally, you want to make sure that there's at least 500 people within a town if you're going to put anything in it. But if we help these two grow, they would eventually sort of grow into each other, and they would basically become different districts of the same city. It'd be like a, well, if we included this one, it'd be like a tri-city area. And it wouldn't be very good to do that because all we've got are farms and this oil refinery and nothing that it really takes. I guess the factory down here could take the farms, but... so besides road and train, you can also set up airports as well as shipping routes. But those tend to be a bit expensive, and in the case of the airports, the cities that you put it in do not appreciate having them. Over time, they'll get over it, especially when you start bringing in a lot of stuff, because planes will basically take whatever is available. So passengers, mail, goods, without having to specify what is being carried. At least in the early planes. I don't think you really take many goods when you've got that, but it will take passengers and mail from town to town. So we could set up something from Wadingstone to Benville, but because we don't have anything else set up here in Benville, they probably wouldn't appreciate it very much. We can look at the local authority, and right now they don't really care much about us, but they are not growing. And one of the ways to help growth is to start out with a road transportation system. So why don't we go ahead and give them a bus route? Maybe this one would be better. So I'll put that right there. Build that right there. Let's put... you can destroy buildings within a town, but it's expensive for one thing, and it really ticks off everyone in town when you do that. So it's not a good idea. Destroying trees also upsets them, but you can plant trees. Let's just put this depot down here. You can plant trees via the landscaping tab over here. And there's another thing. Let me get this bus system set up first. And we'll just duplicate the buses and get them going. Okay, so talking about the landscaping, you can raise, lower, and level the land. You can destroy things, plant trees. You can also plant these little signs just for whatever, say hello, hooray, and then you can get rid of them. But you can also buy up land for future use, and this can be very important and very helpful if you've got a situation like this where the town is kind of cornered in somewhere, and so the land is really valuable, I guess, because you kind of want to maximize the space. Let me see here. Okay, so like this spot right here is probably going to go to waste. If a house develops here, this whole area is going to be cut off. And maybe we think this would be good for, I don't know, a big depot. Maybe this town will get really big, and eventually we'd want this to be our big mail depot place. So what we could do is put these little signs down, and it would buy up the land for future use. So I'm just going to buy this one, and now the town will not build anything there. If they build a house right here, then that's going to kind of be bad, because maybe eventually I'll want to build a road out here. So maybe I'll just go ahead and buy this one too. It's pretty cheap, $32. So what do they think about this? Very good. They're very happy to have their bus system. So that's all good. But we got this nice hill over here, so maybe now would be the time to set up our airport. Actually, now would be the time to pay off a bit of the loan. So let's pay off half the loan, and we'll wait just a bit. Let's speed this up. Let's see what we got. A lot of subsidies coming along. I keep hearing down there at the bottom. mostly passenger and mail crap, so let's just keep going. Wait until I get back up to about 100,000. Okay, wait a minute. So there's a new locomotive here that I can be I'm just gonna say yes. Basically, that was just saying that I can have exclusive use of that vehicle for a year or whatever it gave me. And as far as I know, when you say yes, you don't actually pay anything, because I didn't see anything taken away. So if you've watched my Let's Play of Sid Meier's Railroads, it's kind of like the patent system, I guess. Every now and then something will come along, and you can get an early advantage by taking that. Now what was that? That was a locomotive, right? So let's go look at a train system. Go see what new train that was. Yeah, that was that new steam engine that is actually very unreliable. It's a 51% reliability, which means it would break down a lot. So even though it's got 1600 horsepower, which is quite a bit more than what these trains currently have, these are also 96% reliable, which means we don't have to worry about them breaking down. But they do have a lot heavier weight, so they move a lot faster. Whatever, we don't need that. We need to build planes, is what we need. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Well, the airport is right here. Right now, it's not really worth building an ocean transport system, because there's nothing in the ocean. You can transport things between towns, but let's get that plane set up. So the airport tab right next to the landscape tab. And right now we only have access to this small little airfield. And this is really... I need to see trees, damn it. These planes are really annoying because you need them close to buildings. You need them close to places to get passengers and goods and whatever. So, you know, the closer in it is, the better off it will be as an airport. But people don't want to live next to an airfield, so you also kind of have to keep it away from that. And you can see, the closer I get to town, it's accepting goods, but if I put it out here, it's not accepting goods. So right now it's only getting mail and passengers, and it's not getting it from very much. It's only a few houses. So maybe I want to risk putting it here. I mean, putting it here would be great, but then everyone lives next to it, and that's going to piss them all off. Oh, what the hell, we're not keeping this map. This is a tutorial map, so let's put it right there. Hooray! And then we'll put the other one down here in Benville, and I'm sure they'll appreciate this like hell. So, we got that. Click the little depot, click a new aircraft. What do we got here? 6 bags of mail, 30, okay, these are more passengers. Oh wow, so the Coleman count actually has the best. I mean, it's 65 passengers, 8 bags of mail, 86% reliable. This is the best plane. And it's about as much as this one. So let's go with this. Buy it. Do the usual thing where you set up the trade route. And click go. So let's see what that did. Oh, Waiting Stone still loves us, and that's because we have had this set up for years. And you can see these little industries also have authority, so like the Waiting Stone mines are attached to that town, and the Slinningbury woods over here are attached to here. So Slinningbury probably likes us. Yes, very good, because we are utilizing their industry. So that affects reputation, but let's go over here and see Benville. Excellent, good, because we had that bus system. And they look like they're growing. We've got some office buildings here. If you click this little question mark button, there we go. You can see the various little things. We've got a cinema over there, townhouses, the stadium, etc. So okay, that's going well. Let's wait and see what the plane has to bring back. See how much money we're making. Oh, and it's already smoking, so it needs to go in for repairs. Has too few orders in the schedule. It does? Oh, we told it to go to the hangar. We don't want to do that. We actually want it to go to the field. Okay, well, gotta be careful there. And nobody is waiting here anyway to be taken anywhere. But here we've got 126 passengers, 39 bags of mail. So let's let that set up. And then when they fly back to Benville, we should... Whoa, whoa, don't do that. Damn it, I really wish that would not be affected by the speed. Okay, get out of the way. We actually lost money last year. I'm going to have to look at that here in a minute. The airports are very expensive, so that's really no big surprise. $8,000. Well, that might not be worth it. Might not be worth it. Let's see. We're actually making quite a bit of money, but yeah, that new vehicle, $67,000 for that plane, that's what did it. How are we doing as a company, though? The company is worth $300,000. Has our... Nope, we haven't evolved yet. So, no, not the current goals, that's not what I want to look at. I want to look at the detailed performance. Well, we haven't paid off the loan yet. So we can do that. But, I think it's the end of this video. This thing we need to talk about is shipping. But, we aren't that far along. I don't see any oil rigs out in the water yet. And the only other thing worth doing right now would be shipping people along the coast, which we might have to do. But we'll pick that up next time.